Cool. Uh, Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's package maintenance meeting. Michael Dawson is out today, so we're going to be working as a group to get through the meeting and share it. Awesome. So to get started, if everyone could add themselves, everyone in attendance, if they could add themselves to the minutes doc, the Google Doc in the GitHub or linked from the GitHub repo, just adding yourself as present. I'm going to do that right now for myself. Cool. Myself. Cool. Awesome. So it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items on the agenda. So let's get into the first one, unless I'm missing anything. Cool. Cool. So the first item on the agenda is a first draft of testing guidelines. This is from Emily. Emily, do you want to talk about this?
Got it. So I just put together a quick draft of basically placeholders, but I'm super glad to take any feedback and put it in there. I don't really have any major opinions on this, being new to the committee. So I can edit this however it needs to be edited. There's a lot of comments, but I'm not really sure where to go from there.
Yeah, so have you kind of gone through and addressed the comments that are addressable?
I think so. I mean, I can review it again, but there's like, let's see, I think it's Manuel. Let's see, who's this? Yeah, Manuel and Jordan were talking a little bit about testing guidelines and what dependencies are, but I'm not really sure how to resolve that. And I think there's some comments from Michael that I probably need to review as well.
Okay, cool.
But I'm not sure how, like what words to add.
Yeah. Does anyone here want to kind of go through and help review that and give it a final pass with Emily and kind of help guide that context? I'd be happy to help. If no one else raises their hand, I'm happy to help. I just wanted to make sure other people had an opportunity. So yeah, I will go ahead and review this today and let you, I'll both review the PR and also just go ahead and reach out to you. And, you know, if there's anything I would do, I'll let you know that. In terms
that would be really great. Forward. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Cool. Any other thoughts on this PR? It's PR 169. Yeah, sorry, sorry, I was just reading the comments. Okay, cool. It looks like there's no additional comments on this right now. Lance, yeah, I just said I'd help out with that. I've chaired a few meetings in the past, so I figured I'd help. Cool. So I will go ahead and review that later. Awesome. Next agenda item is issue 164, baseline practices, npm ignore package JSON files. This is from Joel Chip. Is Joel on the call? No, it does not look like he is. Does anyone else have context around this that they'd like to share? It doesn't look like anyone in the meeting. I'm just trying to compare. It doesn't look like anyone in the meeting is actually engaged in the issue. So is that true? Okay, cool.
Seems yes.
Cool. In that case, I will comment in this issue that nobody was in the meeting today that had context on this. All right, I'm just writing that in real quick. Does anyone actually have thoughts or has gone through this and have feedback for it, or something we should kind of dive into? I'll take that as a no. Okay, cool. That agenda item is stricken. One thing I will note, would someone be willing to take minutes, or not minutes, but like fill in the minutes on the actual doc itself? I can fill in the baseline practices one, and then.
Yeah, usually Michael doing like this, just.
Okay, cool. I can go in and backfill first draft if no one else can. But yeah, let me also write that here.
I can do that, Tierney.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so those are both resolved, at least for this meeting. The next version or next agenda item is create a support section validator. Let's see here. I don't believe Edgar is on the call. Manuel is also not on the call. So I'm just trying to compare who has commented versus who is in the call. No, Glenn is also not on the call. Has anyone kind of reviewed this PR or gone through it and have any feedback for it? Is there anything blocking this?
I think it's just an issue at this point, right?
Oh yeah, it is an issue. Sorry, I was looking at the structure of it and it looked like a PR. Oh, it does look like it was actually already merged 18 days ago in PR 139. Support level, I cannot tell if that's what that PR does.
So 139 is documentation. This one is about an actual like validation tool.
Okay.
It looks like Manuel built something out in a separate repo.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like the idea of this. I didn't actually know that property existed. Is that a normal property in package JSON? I've never seen that before.
No, it's new.
Okay.
New to us.
That's cool. Yeah, that is there. Okay. Okay, I see. So PR 139 basically defines the basis for this, and this is suggesting a tool that does that. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Awesome. So since that's landed, I think that tool is super interesting. Anyone have anything else they'd like to add to this? I'm not sure if there's anything actionable specifically right now for us to do. Outside of like, I guess, do we want to discuss that tool? And I can't tell if this is actually being suggested as something we pull into the org or if this is just something that exists in the ecosystem. I imagine it's pulling into the org, but I'm not entirely certain. Does anyone have feelings about whether we should pull it into the org? Like, does that seem like a good idea? Is that something we'd want to have under the package maintenance team to kind of continue to support this more officially?
I think they discussed it on previous meetings, and they will continue when they come back to this process. So we'll just wait.
Cool. I will comment then. Nobody in today's meeting to discuss this. Tool. I'll just say that, you know, we'll hold off until the next meeting that someone is present in. Cool. Awesome. Next, okay, so anything else anyone have on that specific issue? Cool. The next agenda item is add deprecate guidelines doc. It's a draft PR. My internet's bad today. Okay, so this is from Joel Chip. Several comments by Jordan, Manuel, Michael. So does anyone have context on this specifically?
They are discussing how to notify about deprecation, and I think that the work is still ongoing. And
okay.
There is no specific solution just because too much conversation on it, and there are still some questions without answers. And basically, it's a hard topic, and that's why.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess on that one, you know, everyone here should probably go try to spend some time and review that. If you have thoughts or specifically interested in deprecation, module deprecation, and have time to go review that. I'm also going to add that same comment around nobody in today's meeting was, nobody outside of Victor was around to discuss this more specifically, and give any additional context or, you know, to-dos on this specific PR. Cool. Is there anything else that anyone has on that? No? Cool. I copied that. Okay, and then which problems Node.js open source maintainers / authors face today? That is issue 113 from Matteo. It's a long-standing issue. Has anyone here jumped in, or do you know the status of this and what we need to do?
Matteo was the last who commented this, and again, the work is still ongoing, and I don't think that it will finish on the next meetings.
Okay, cool.
So it's just like an ongoing issue for. I don't know how much time, but yes, it's just started. And cool. Since there can be right answer right now, correct answer.
Okay. Cool. Anyone else have additional context or comments that they'd like to add to this? No? Cool. I will add that same kind of discussion comment there. And I believe that's the exhaustion of our agenda. Is there anything additional that people would like to discuss that wasn't on today's agenda? No?
Tianu, am I still demoing some of our work? I think that was
Yes.
not. Yep. Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I saw that comment, but I forgot about it, and it wasn't on the agenda. So I'm sorry. Yes, you should totally go ahead and do that.
Okay. Cool. Let me just share my screen. So this is the first package maintenance call I've joined. My name's Beth. I work with Michael at IBM, and I'm just here to kind of demo some of the work we've done with modules and how we can kind of help people across different LTS versions, seeing which modules work across which versions and platforms. So this isn't a sales pitch. This is something we've done. It's open source. And what we've essentially done is the tool SitGym that we use in the Node community to regression test Node releases. We've extended it so that we can run a bunch of modules against all the different versions of Node, and then push all the results to a historic test, push all the results to a database, and then we can access those and host them online. So it's just kind of, I'm only showing it to kind of see if there's anything useful here that might be useful from a package maintenance standpoint and that we could maybe reuse, or maybe the idea of extending SitGym. I think it's been discussed in some other calls here to help with the package maintenance efforts. So this is the website, and as you can see, you've got all your different LTS versions of Node, and we've got a list of modules. This is a predefined list at the moment. I think we've got about 40 or 50, but we can add more as we go. And it runs the latest version of the module against each of the versions of Node, so you can kind of get a gist of what version does this work on. And you can do that across different platforms, etc., and see how the different platforms fare on different versions. And all of it's backed by some Jenkins jobs that essentially just run SitGym against the different Node versions and push the results to a database. And all the code's open source on Cloud Native JS. And I think the interesting bit is that we've extended SitGym and added kind of like custom bits to how you run SitGym. So we can actually say, push the results here, or we're even looking at a module and saying this module only declares support for Node 8 and 10, therefore don't run it on Node 6 and just return not supported on that version. So I think it kind of relates to some of the issues the package maintenance team are trying to solve. And I'm just hoping that there's something we can reuse from this, or we can look at enhancing SitGym and get some use cases for some test tools to help people see which modules are working on which versions.
So there was one question from Lance. He is having hardware issues, so he can't specifically ask them himself. So he's asking in text. What is the determining factor to get modules into the module insights this tool, basically?
So at the moment, I believe we just took the top kind of 50 most depended on from NPM. There's not any hard and fast criteria yet. We would like to write some, so probably includes number of depended on and things like that. But we haven't got any like hard written criteria yet.
So one question I have is, like, I've been working a lot with npm-ls recently. That sounds weird, but yeah, I've been doing a lot with npm-ls, and like now I'm curious if this, instead of like defining a predefined list, if I can pass in like my package.json and get this info out. Like, is there basically a way I can pass in a list in terms of like JSON or some other format that then I can get this, effective information?
Not at the moment. So it's all the data's stored on in a RESTful API. So there would be a way of saying, give me all the results for this list of modules if we wrote that to the API, but it doesn't exist yet. But the data should be there.
Okay. So So are you actually running this against the entire registry, or are you just running it against the predefined list?
So we're running it against this list of modules here. So 56 of them. We need to look at extending it and how easy it is for us to extend, because at the moment I think we've got 2 machines per platform connected to our Jenkins server, so that's not too bad. But we'd have to look at how we can like exponentially grow this. Also, I think in another package maintenance issue, there was a discussion of testing the whole tree of a module.
Yep.
So maybe we should start looking at pulling in whole trees and how we can validate that whole trees work across different node versions.
Yeah, that's something we did when I was at NodeSource, and it's difficult. So yeah. One question from Lance: is there any info from npms.io that can be used to score the modules? So basically, I'm assuming enhance the additional scores here.
Yeah.
Metadata that's here, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. We could probably pull in like number of forks, number of stars. I think there's already some rating from npm.io that we could bring in. Cool. It's just a matter of extending the database. At the moment, the infrastructure, I will admit, is a bit flaky. It's a bit of a proof of concept, but just seeing how we could take it forward and make it more useful for the wider package maintenance team.
So, are there any other questions for Bethany specifically around this? Cool. So, do you care if I keep asking questions? Because I have a lot, and this is something I'm super interested in. So how are you getting code coverage? Are you running like C8 or the node test?
So what
it's now available via V8?
What we've got is we're running one of our custom Citium commands is to run NYC and just pipe npm test into NYC.
Gotcha.
But the issue with that is if a module's npm test command is already NYC npm test, we kind of pipe NYC npm test to npm to NYC, and we get some weird numbers. So there's definitely some checking we need to do in there and make that a bit more stringent.
So are you actually doing the entire dev dependencies for that? Since, like, are you not doing the production dependencies? Because I assume you have to use whatever test suite they're using.
Not entirely sure.
Yeah, sorry, it's a weird question, and it kind of answers itself, so that was dumb. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, so another question I have here, like how many of these changes to Citium are upstreamable? Like could they land in?
So we have actually upstreamed it. I believe it's landed. Okay. Basically, what we've added is an option to Citium so that you can do like -- custom test. And then you can give it a script file or whatever file you like, and it will run that instead of the normal npm test command.
Gotcha.
You can just pass it whatever you like.
So that's interesting. Do you have, so is the format of the file that I assume that's standardized in Canary the Goldmine, is that format like usable, or is it not usable? I'm looking for a word that I can't find. Is that like well documented as a way that like I could build this, format of things I'm looking for myself?
Probably not, to be honest. I mean, the custom test commands made it in, and I haven't really worked with Citium directly.
Okay.
Recently, but I think we should definitely add some docs there to Citium.
Okay, cool. Awesome. That's most of my questions. I'll stop asking. Any other questions for Beth?
Yeah, I've tried to summarize in the docs, but please review. I mean in agenda doc on Google Docs.
Oh, you think add this? Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, someone added it. So thank you to whoever did that.
Thanks. What I would kind of like to be involved with going forward is kind of how we can write tools for package maintenance. I'm hoping this will kind of flesh out into some use cases for some tools that we could write. That's what I'm hoping.
Awesome. I definitely think that there's like, comparing it to the issues that we've gone over today, it does seem like there's, some things like even going through and checking to see if the test suite actually does what the testing guidelines, outline, or if there's a support section the support section validator can actually be used, in this way. I think there's very likely some utility there to working on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this is the form it could be used. Maybe a CLI tool is a better answer that we could just use to get the test results for the modules that you're using and get a nice little response back. That might be a nice way, but it's still interacting with the same API and the same data. So
yeah. Antonio asked, for incompatible modules, would it be possible to transpile, or would breakage mean the module owner might have to manually update it?
I think that would be dependent on the module, I think.
So it'd probably be like a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for demoing this. This is super cool. Awesome. Cool. Let me go through the actual agenda issue and make sure there wasn't anything else I missed. I don't think there was, but I could be wrong. Sorry, pulling it up. My internet's slow today. Should we also try to discuss the project board as part of the agenda?
I think it's just like not still an agenda because agenda was collected before.
Okay, cool.
However, we can watch on this, yes.
So do you think is that something we can discuss or should discuss? I'll take that as a no, I think. Cool. Cool. Awesome. With that, I think we can probably end. Is there anything else that anyone wants to talk about, discuss, share, anything like that?
In returning to the board question, I think we just can watch on this, and it's cool. But the question was if we will use this or that methodology, and in previous meeting they asked it just like test it. So I think we might put a note about that. Please watch on board, and if you're comfortable with it or not, something like this. So it might be if we will make a like issue LTR for members to discuss this.
Okay, cool. Do you want to take that as a to-do, Victor?
I can, yes.
Okay,
But
that would be awesome.
I didn't make the board itself, but I like it, and yes, I will.
Yeah. I'm looking at this and I'm kind of jealous of it compared to ComCom. Like this is actually a really nice structure. So yeah, I agree. Cool, awesome. Let me make sure we get that as a note. Let's see. I'm just writing that down in the minutes. Cool. Awesome. Anything else? Cool. With that, I think we can end the meeting. Thanks everyone for joining today, and I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.